The text came at 11:47 p.m. while I was washing dishes. My hands were still wet when I picked up my phone. Mom's name glowed on the screen. "We don't want you here anymore. You're not family. Stay away from us." No explanation. No phone call first. Just words that felt like a door slamming in my face. Then I saw it. My brother had given it a thumbs up. Like it was a joke. Like I was nothing. I didn't scream. I didn't throw my phone. I just dried my hands, sat down at my kitchen table, and opened my computer. I went to every website where I'd set up payments for them. Electric bill. Water bill. Phone plan. One by one I pressed cancel. By midnight I was done. Before I tell you what happened next, leave a comment and let me know where you're watching from. I want to know I'm not the only person who's ever had to do something like this. After I turned everything off, my apartment felt different. Like the air had changed. The refrigerator hummed. The clock on the wall ticked. Everything sounded louder than before. I sat in my chair, staring at my laptop screen. My heart wasn't racing. I wasn't crying. I just felt calm. Strangely, terribly calm. For so many years, I had been the person who fixed everything for them. The person who paid when they didn't have money. The person who showed up when no one else would. Mom's electric bill. Paid it. My brother's car insurance. Also me. Their rent when they couldn't make it. Me again. Every time they called crying or begging, I said yes. I thought that's what family meant. I thought if I kept helping, they would finally see I mattered. But tonight, sitting in my quiet apartment, I realized something. I hadn't been family to them. I had been a bank account with feelings. I looked around my small apartment. Everything was organized. My books were in neat rows. My dishes were clean. My bed was made. After growing up in a house full of yelling and chaos, I learned to love order. I learned to control the things I could control. But now, all that order felt like it was working against me. Every folder on my desk had receipts in it. Every notebook had lists of things I'd paid for them. Rent, groceries, medical bills. I had been keeping track without even realizing it. Maybe deep down I always knew this day would come. I used to believe love meant suffering in silence. I thought if I just kept giving and never complained, they'd eventually appreciate me. My mom raised me to feel guilty about everything. If I said no, I was selfish. If I asked for anything, I was ungrateful. My brother was the favorite. He could do no wrong. He was loud and funny and never had to follow the rules. Dad just tried to stay out of the fights. And me. I learned to be invisible. I learned to be useful. I learned that my worth was measured in dollars. The first time I paid their bills, I was 24 years old. Mom called me sobbing. They were going to lose the house. She said they had no one else to turn to. I was barely making enough money to feed myself, but I sent them everything I had. $2,000. Mom told me I was her hero. I believed her. After that, it never stopped. The power bill. The water. My brother's college classes. $12,000 a year for 3 whole years. Angels don't get paid back. They just keep giving until there's nothing left. I rubbed my eyes and tried to feel sorry for what I'd done. But I couldn't. All I felt was clear. Clear like I'd been wearing foggy glasses my whole life and someone finally wiped them clean. I wasn't having a breakdown. I was adding up the truth. I wasn't losing my family. I was finally seeing them for who they really were. The last time I saw them in person was 4 months ago. We all had dinner together. Mom criticized the way I dressed in front of everyone. My brother bragged about his new vacation, the one I'd helped pay for without knowing it. Dad made a joke about how I'd never get married because I was too boring. I smiled and ate my food and said nothing. That dinner table was a trap. I just didn't know it yet. Now, sitting in the blue light of my computer, I opened a new document. I started writing everything down. The date I sent money. How much it was. What they said they needed it for. Every email. Every text message. Every promise they made and broke. My fingers moved fast, like my hands remembered everything my heart tried to forget. One row at a time I was taking back my power. Outside my window the city glowed. Cars moved through the streets. Somewhere out there my family was asleep. They thought I'd finally learned my lesson. They thought I'd disappear quietly. They had no idea what I was building in the dark. When the sun came up, my phone started ringing. At first, then Mom, then my brother. Over and over. I didn't answer. The silence between us wasn't empty anymore. It was full of truth. The first text didn't even come from Mom. Came from my brother. "You're being dramatic. Mom didn't mean it like that. Just call her." Dramatic. Like I was the problem. Like his thumbs up on that message didn't count. I read his text twice, then deleted it. No apology. No shame. Just an order to go back to normal. I went back to my list instead. Every number told a story. The week I paid for my brother's textbooks. The month I overdraft my account so Dad could fix his car. The time I didn't pay my own rent because Mom needed money for medicine. Every dollar was a memory. And every memory ended the same way. With me being used. At 9 in the morning, Mom sent an email. It didn't start with sorry. It started with blame. "You've caused a huge problem. Fix this now. Call me immediately." She didn't mention kicking me out of the family. She didn't mention the cruelty. She just wanted me to go back to being her helper. For the first time I saw it so clearly. They didn't want a daughter or a sister. They wanted someone to clean up their messes. I typed back 5 words. "I'm done cleaning up messes." Then I hit send. My phone rang immediately. I let it ring until it stopped. By noon the panic was spreading. Dad texted. "What's going on with the bills? Your mother is furious." My brother texted. "Why are you doing this? You're tearing this family apart." Tearing the family apart. As if I was the one who started this. As if my silence for all these years was the real crime. I opened my bank app and scrolled back through the years. Thousands and thousands of dollars. The guilt I'd carried for so long started to melt away. This wasn't anger anymore. It was clarity. Cold, focused, unstoppable clarity. By 3 in the afternoon they tried everything. Anger, then begging, then nostalgia. Mom posted something on social media. "Some children forget who raised them the moment they get a little money. Sad to see pride destroy a family." 40 people liked it. People I hadn't seen in years. People who didn't know the truth. I didn't comment. But I took a screenshot. That post was proof. Proof that she'd rather lie to strangers than tell the truth to herself. That was the moment everything shifted. Not just in my bank account. In my heart. For the first time in my life, I understood something powerful. Silence wasn't weakness. Silence was strategy. At 6 that evening I called my friend Rachel. She's a lawyer who helps people with family disputes. "I think I'm ready to stop pretending," I said. "Then start keeping records," she said. "We'll handle this the right way." That night I went through every single email and text message. I saved them all. I printed them. I organized them. The more I worked, the lighter I felt. By the time midnight came, my kitchen table looked like a courtroom. And for the first time ever, I wasn't the one being judged. By the second day, the quiet felt different. It wasn't scary anymore. It was powerful. My laptop sat open on the table. Every tab showed a piece of the puzzle. Bills, receipts, bank transfers, text messages. They had built their happiness on my exhaustion. And I was finished holding up their world. At 11 p.m. Rachel called. "Everything ready?" she asked. "Every single piece," I said. "Good. Then you're not asking nicely anymore. You're demanding what's fair." She told me exactly what to write. Formal letter. Clear. Strong. The subject line. "Money owed, final notice." The message. "This is an official request for repayment of all financial support provided. You have 30 days to respond before I take further action." No emotions. No begging. Just facts. When I pressed send, the world seemed to hold its breath. 10 minutes later the replies started. "Dad, let's just talk about this like adults." "Mom, how dare you treat your own mother this way?" My brother, "You've completely lost your mind. You're ruining everything." I stared at their words. Every message said the same thing. They weren't upset about what they did. They were upset that I finally fought back. At midnight, my phone started lighting up like fireworks. Calls, messages, voicemails. One voicemail from Mom was just her screaming, "Turn everything back on. We'll talk tomorrow." But tomorrow had already come. And they were the ones in the dark now. Rachel sent me another message. "Perfect. Forward everything to me. I'm filing official paperwork in the morning." I leaned back in my chair and looked at my name on the screen. Taurus. I'd signed that name on so many checks for them. On so many contracts. Every signature had been a promise. Tonight it became proof. At 1 in the morning, another message from my brother. "You think this makes you strong? You're heartless." Heartless. That word used to hurt. Now it felt like the truth. My kindness had been a thing they stole from over and over. I poured myself a glass of water. My hands didn't shake. This wasn't revenge. This was math. This was justice. This was me finally standing up. Before I closed my laptop, I checked one more thing. The apartment lease. The one they'd been living in for 2 years. It was still in my name. I'd co-signed it because they couldn't get approved on their own. I never asked them to transfer it because I didn't think I'd need to. Now that mistake was my advantage. By morning, Rachel had written the first official letter. She ended it with a sentence that made me smile. "You said she wasn't family. Let's make it legal." Outside, the streetlights turned off as the sun came up. Inside, my laptop glowed with a different kind of light. The kind made of truth, numbers, and quiet power. For the first time in my whole life, I didn't feel small. Felt strong. The morning the letters arrived, the world looked normal. Coffee shops were opening. People were walking to work. The sun was shining through my window. But inside, I felt like I was waiting for something big to happen. Rachel had mailed everything. Every receipt. Every text. Every bank record. She sent copies to each of them by certified mail and email. 9:15 my phone rang. It was Dad. He never called me first. "Sweetheart," he said, voice soft and fake. "This is going too far. Let's keep this between us." I let the silence sit there until he got uncomfortable. "It is between us," I said. "It's just written down now." He took a deep breath. "You're making your mother sick." "No," I said. "She made herself sick. I just stopped paying for the doctor." Blick. Hung up. By lunchtime, Mom posted on social media again. This time it was a long post about how ungrateful children are. "We raised her with everything we had. And now she's suing her own parents for money. Greed destroys families." Below it, my aunt commented, "Shame on her." But then something else happened. Other people started commenting too. Cousins. Family friends. People I barely knew. "Wait, didn't she pay for your house? Isn't she the one who covered your bills?" The thread started splitting apart. Their stories started crumbling. At 1:45, an email came from Rachel. The subject line: "Important discovery." Attached was a document. Bank records. Signatures. A note from Rachel. "Found a withdrawal from your savings account. $1,000. The signature doesn't match yours. Possible fraud." I read it 3 times. The new furniture. The big TV. The timing matched perfectly. My mother hadn't just taken my money. She'd stolen it. And she'd signed my name to do it. By evening, Rachel had already filed a legal order. The court froze their bank accounts before dinner time. That night, my parents tried every way to contact me. Emails, texts, voicemails. Everything said the same thing. "It was a mistake. We'll pay you back. Don't destroy this family." The irony almost made me laugh out loud. At 8:30, someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole. My mother. Her eyes were red. She was holding an envelope. "Emma," she said quietly. "Please. We're losing everything. Think about your brother. Think about my brother." I repeated. Her lip trembled. "He's still your brother." I opened the door just wide enough to hand her a paper I'd printed that morning. A notice from the landlord. Rachel had already started the eviction process. "You have 7 days," I said. Her face went pale. "You wouldn't do this." "I already did." She stared at me like she was looking for someone else. "Told me. The one who fixed. The one who forgave. The one who paid for everything. That person was gone." "Goodbye, Mom," I said. And I closed the door. I didn't watch her walk away. I just stood there in my apartment, breathing slowly. The end of something was finally here. By the next afternoon, everything fell apart for them. The power got shut off. The water stopped. The internet went dark. Rachel forwarded me confirmation emails. Eviction approved. Fraud case filed. Bank accounts frozen. Then another explosion happened online. Mom posted again. "My own daughter is suing us. We're heartbroken. Family means nothing anymore." This time the comments weren't sympathetic. My Aunt Diane, who never spoke up about anything, wrote one sentence. "You mean the fraud where you stole from her savings?" The post went silent. Hours later my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Boston area code. "This is Jennifer Cole from the Westfield Trust and Estate Office," the voice said. "We're managing your grandmother's will. We found some irregularities with the beneficiary documents." My heart stopped. "Irregularities?" "Yes, Miss Torres. It looks like your name was removed and replaced. But the handwriting doesn't match the original signature. The furniture, the remodel, the sudden spending. It all made sense now." "Thank you," I said. "Please send everything to my lawyer." By midnight Rachel confirmed it. "Inheritance fraud. We're filing another freeze. Another charge." Over the next few days, the truth spread quietly. One by one relatives reached out to me. Cousins I hadn't talked to in years. They did the same thing to us. They borrowed money and never paid it back. "You're not wrong, Emma." Every message felt like a life raft. Like I'd been drowning alone, and suddenly people were telling me I wasn't crazy. When the official court papers arrived, Rachel called me. "They're going to reach out again," she warned. "Don't respond. Even if they say sorry." I paused. "Especially if they say sorry." The next morning my inbox exploded again. This time Mom's strategy was apology. "We forgive you, Emma. Please forgive us too. Let's move past this." Forgiveness as a weapon. The oldest trick in the book. I forwarded it to Rachel and archived the whole conversation. By the end of the week, the apartment was no longer theirs. The lease, still in my name, was terminated. The landlord found new renters within 3 days. Rachel sent me the confirmation. Watching that email arrive didn't feel like revenge. Felt like balance. My brother tried one last time. Text message. "You won. Are you happy now?" I wrote back. Nobody wins when family becomes a war. Then I blocked his number forever. That night, the city outside glowed like always. I sat by my window. The same window I used to stare out of when I couldn't sleep, worrying about their problems. Now it reflected something new. Me. Alone but free. Somewhere out there they were learning to survive without me. And for the first time in my entire life, I didn't feel guilty about it. By the time the court case ended, several weeks had passed. Life had become strangely peaceful. Rachel sent me a short email. Case closed. Repayment plan signed. Fraud charges resolved. You're free. Free. The word felt foreign on my tongue. Their accounts were unfrozen, but now they owed everything back. The apartment was gone. Their debts were legally tied to them now. No more hiding. No more using me as a shield. The silence that used to terrify me had become my favorite sound. No more emergency calls at 3 a.m. No more just one more favor texts. My mornings were quiet. My evenings were mine. I bought a small house on the edge of town. Nothing fancy. Just a place with big windows, a little garden, and no ghosts. My friend Samir helped me move in. He handed me a coffee and smiled. Feels different, doesn't it? Yeah, I said. It feels like starting over. The first night in my new house, I opened my old spreadsheet. The one where I used to track every dollar I sent them. I looked at the numbers for a long time. Then I highlighted everything and pressed delete. Watching it disappear didn't hurt. It felt like letting go of a weight I didn't know I was carrying. Word slowly got around that my parents were renting a tiny place across town. My brother got a job he complained about constantly. I didn't feel happy about it. I just felt distant. They were finally living the life they built, without me propping it up. That night, I slept all the way through until morning. No nightmares. No guilt. No panic. Just silence. 1 month later, I visited my grandmother's grave. I brought sunflowers. Her favorite. I knelt down and whispered, "It's over. I got it back." The wind blew gently like an answer. Peace doesn't announce itself. It just arrives quietly when you finally stop fighting for people who never fought for you. If you've ever had to walk away from people who hurt you, I want you to know this. You're not alone. You're not cruel for choosing yourself. You're not heartless for setting boundaries. You're human. If this story made you feel something, check out the Family Betrayal playlist for more real stories like mine. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what happens next.